bombshell developments in the search for justice for Gabby Petito.
The Laundries already knew what happened and refused to speak to investigators because they were trying to protect their son.
We are getting a look at the handwritten confession, 8 pages of it. These details are chilling, and you may find them very disturbing.
Inside, FBI agents say he confessed to the murder of Gabby Petito.
There's a term in psychology, coercive control. It's not the kind of abuse you can see. There are no bruises, no blood, but it breaks a person from the inside. Slowly, silently, it takes away their freedom, their confidence, their identity. From the outside, these relationships can look perfect, smiling photos, happy videos, but behind the camera, there's fear, pressure, and silence. Gabby Petito, or Gabby as everyone called her, was caught in one of those stories. 22 years old, a big heart, a free spirit, and a dream to travel the world. She had a van, a camera, and a boy she loved, Brian Laundrie. Together, they started their #1 van life journey. Beautiful views on Instagram, romantic vlogs on YouTube. Everything looked perfect, but behind those posts was the real story. Things started to change. Her laughs felt forced. Her captions felt sad. And then one day, Gabby disappeared. No calls, no texts, no updates on social media. The girl who shared her journey with the world had gone completely silent. And when Brian returned home, alone, driving Gabby's van without a word, America knew something was very, very wrong. In just a few weeks, it went from a personal tragedy to a national storm. Every news channel was asking, "Where is Gabby Petito? Why won't Brian Laundrie speak?" TikTok turned into a detective agency. Reddit users were zooming into every photo. It was like the entire country wanted to solve this case. And when a body was found in the woods of Wyoming, a dream ended, and a harsh truth came to light. This wasn't just Gabby's story. It was the story of silent abuse, the kind that's ignored every day, and of a society that doesn't wake up until it's too late. Before we dive deeper into the case, let's pause for a moment and understand who were Gabby and Brian. Because unless we see them as real people, this story stays incomplete. Like most stories, this started with a relationship. And at first it felt new, sweet, and full of love. Gabrielle Venora Petito, or just Gabby, born March 19th, 1999, in Blue Point, New York. A bright smile and eyes full of dreams. She wasn't just a travel vlogger. She was an artist. She loved nature, loved her camera, and had one big dream: to explore the world, meet new people, and turn her life into stories. Her family adored her. Her mom, Nicole Schmidt, her biological dad, Joseph Petito, and her stepdad, Jim Schmidt. All three gave her so much love. Gabby graduated from Bayport Blue Point High School in 2017. Then she worked as a waitress, saving money to chase her travel dreams. And then there was Brian Laundrie, born November 18th, 1997, in Northport, Florida. Quiet, introverted. A guy who liked art, nature, and being alone. He and Gabby met in high school. What started as friendship slowly turned into love. And that love turned into a journey they wanted to share with the world. They rekindled their relationship in 2019, and by 2020, they were living together. In the summer of 2021, Gabby and Brian made their van life dream come true. They had a white Ford Transit van. They designed it themselves. Inside, it had a small bed, wooden shelves, a mini kitchen, and string lights that gave it a fairy tale glow. They turned their journey into a vlog series called Van Life, Beginning Our Van Life Journey. In those videos, there were smiles between mountains, peaceful music, and two people who looked happy. Instagram showed them sipping coffee on the ground, holding hands by the lake, laughing at the top of a mountain. To the world, they looked like the perfect couple. But if you looked closely, you'd notice something had changed in Gabby's eyes. Her smile seemed forced. Her Instagram captions felt tired, not excited. And the camera wasn't just catching nature anymore. It was picking up her silent anxiety. Even fans in the comments started to notice. Gabby seems off lately. Her energy feels different. But no one took it seriously. They had started traveling in July, through Colorado, Utah, Montana, and then Wyoming. And the more miles they drove, the more tension grew between them. Sometimes Brian would walk off for hours. Sometimes Gabby would sit alone in silence. And when the camera was off, maybe that's when the real story was happening. But the camera was never there. So the world just saw filters, not the truth. August 12th, 2021, Moab, Utah. A stranger called 911. In the call, you can clearly hear them say, "We saw a man hitting a girl." Soon after, police pulled over Gabby and Brian on the side of a highway. And what came next shocked all of America. It was the body cam footage, and it told a very different story than the Instagram posts. On camera, Gabby is crying. Her face is red, tears won't stop. She keeps apologizing and over, "I messed up, it's my fault." Meanwhile, Brian stands calmly, smiling, confident, like nothing's wrong at all. The police separate them to ask questions. Gabby says she has anxiety and sometimes has panic attacks. She says they had a fight that day. When police ask Brian if he hit her, he says, "No, she hit me." And then something shocking happens. The officers tell Gabby, "You're the primary aggressor, which means we think you started it." Then they just let them go. No one was arrested. No medical help was called. No mental health expert was brought in. Even though emotional and psychological abuse was clear, they treated it like a small argument and moved on. And maybe that was the moment when Gabby could have been saved, but she wasn't. The camera turned off, and the two of them drove off together again, in the same van, down the same road. But this time, something in that relationship had broken. After the Moab police let them go, Gabby and Brian kept traveling. But something had changed. Behind the camera, the silence was growing louder. Gabby seemed more anxious, and Brian more irritated. August 27th, 2021. That was the last confirmed time anyone saw Gabby alive. It happened at a restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. A worker there said Brian was yelling at the staff, angry, upset, loud. And Gabby? She was sitting quietly, crying. Her eyes were red. Her face looked scared. Later that same evening, Gabby's mom got a strange text message. "Can you help Stan? I keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." Stan was Gabby's grandfather, but Gabby never called him Stan. That message didn't sound like Gabby at all. The tone felt cold, robotic, like someone else had written it. Her mom knew something was wrong, and after that, no calls, no messages, no Instagram posts, no stories, nothing. The girl who shared every part of her van life with the world vanished without a trace. Then, on September 1st, 2021, Brian Laundrie came back to Florida, alone, same van, but no Gabby. He didn't call her parents, he didn't contact the police, he didn't say where she was, he just came home, quiet, calm, as if nothing had happened. And for the next 10 days, Brian didn't say a single word. September 11th, 2021. It had been 10 days since Gabby's mom received that last weird text. She had been calling, texting, begging for answers, but no reply. And now, the fear was bigger than the hope. That day, her family in Long Island, New York, filed a missing person report. Gabby wasn't just a daughter who didn't come home. She was now officially a missing case, but something was seriously wrong with the case. Because when police tried to talk to Brian Laundrie, the guy who last saw her, he said, "My lawyer will speak for me." He didn't say a single word. Gabby's family kept calling, begging for answers, asking Brian's parents to help. But the Laundrie family didn't respond. The only thing they did was hire a lawyer, and that's when the anger began to grow. On social media, the case exploded. TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, everywhere, people were searching for Gabby. Internet users checked timestamps on her Instagram posts, watched her vlogs frame by frame, scanned Google Maps for the van's location. It was like the entire internet became one big detective. The case was now everywhere. Every news channel, every front page, every trending topic. One face, Gabby Petito, and one question, where is she? Why won't Brian say anything? Is it already too late? But then, a shocking twist. September 17th, 2021, 6 days after Gabby was officially reported missing, Brian Laundrie was now missing too. His parents said he went for a hike yesterday and never came back. Now, 2 people were missing, and the truth? It was buried somewhere between them. Now Gabby was missing, and so was Brian. The FBI, local police, reporters, and millions of people online, everyone was looking for answers. And then, on September 19th, 2021, in the Spread Creek dispersed camping area in Wyoming, search teams found human remains in the woods, not far from where Gabby and Brian had last been seen. And soon after, it was confirmed. It was Gabby Petito. The young girl with big dreams and bright eyes was now lying in the cold, quiet ground. Her body had been there for more than 3 weeks, alone, in the wilderness, with no one by her side. The autopsy report revealed Gabby died from manual strangulation. Someone had choked her to death. It was ruled a homicide, murder. All of America froze. Gabby's smile, once glowing in travel videos, was now glowing in candlelight vigils across the country. People held signs, light candles in parks, painted murals in her memory, and everywhere the same heartbreaking thought. If only we had seen the signs sooner. But the story wasn't over yet, because Gabby was gone, and Brian was still missing. After Gabby's body was found, the entire country had one question. Where is Brian Laundrie? His parents claimed he went hiking on September 13th and never came back. But the public didn't believe it. People asked, is he hiding? Are his parents helping him escape? The FBI and police launched a massive search in Carlton Reserve, a 25,000-acre swamp in Florida. But the area was huge and dangerous, full of snakes, alligators, and deep water. Weeks went by. Nothing. Then on October 20th, 2021, just outside that same reserve, searchers found skeletal remains. Near the body was a waterproof dry bag. Inside it were some clothes, a revolver, and a notebook. Soon after, it was confirmed. The remains belonged to Brian Laundrie. Cause of death? A self-inflicted gunshot wound. Suicide. The person at the center of it all was gone. But the shock wasn't over. Inside that notebook, Brian had left a message. He wrote that Gabby had been hurt, in pain, and that he ended her life to stop her suffering. What he called a mercy killing. But Gabby's family, the FBI, and mental health experts all said that's a lie, a manipulation. They said this was Brian's final move. Even in death, he wanted to control the story. He wanted the last word. even about Gabby's murder. But now, the truth was in front of the whole world. After Brian's death, the FBI released their final report on the case. They examined the notebook, the gun, and all the evidence found in his bag. And what Brian wrote in that notebook? It wasn't a real confession. It was a script, a story he wanted people to believe. The FBI said clearly, this was a manipulative confession. They also found a pattern in Brian's behavior. He slowly isolated Gabby from her friends, took control of her money, even tried to control her social media posts. They said Brian showed signs of something called covert narcissism. On the outside, he seemed calm and quiet, but inside, he needed control. All the time. The signs were always there, but people missed them. Gabby blamed herself again and again. She kept apologizing, even when she had done nothing wrong. She lost her voice. She lost her freedom. When the FBI rewatched the Moab body cam footage, they said what millions now saw too. The abuse was obvious, but no one saw it. Gabby's death wasn't just a sudden tragedy. It was like slow poison, months of emotional damage until it was too late. Gabby Petito's story is over, but the impact she left behind is still alive. Because this wasn't just the story of one young woman's death. It was a story about a kind of violence that leaves no bruises, no blood, no scars, but it breaks you from the inside. This case taught us a few things we can't forget. Abuse isn't always physical. Love can sometimes be control in disguise. The perfect life on social media isn't always real. After Gabby's case, a wave of change began across the U.S. Police departments started training officers to better recognize emotional abuse. Domestic violence hotlines got more attention. More people began talking about red flags in relationships. In one interview, Gabby's mom said something powerful. If someone makes you feel small, if they make you lose yourself, walk away, no matter how deep the love feels. Gabby was every daughter, every friend, every person who just wanted love, but got silence instead. If you or someone you know is stuck in a controlling, unsafe, or abusive relationship, don't stay silent. Help is out there. There are people who will listen. There are hotlines. There are exits. And if this story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Subscribe to Crimson Witness, where we bring you real, raw, and necessary stories. Stories that the world needs to hear. Because sometimes, the truth is scarier than any fiction.